But yeah, I can't wait to see if anything crazy does come out here. Meanwhile, do you want to give a bit of a shout out? You know, Thorn in the chat saying, Probe is fading a little bit. I mean, Probe is a little bit.
Probe
I think
Starduck, like, so confirmed.
Confirmed.
100% confirmed in my mind.
Also, Probe, I believe right now is currently streaming Age of Empires 2. So,
well,
F's in the chat.
Could have played, but I guess Beast won't traumatize him too hard. In the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way to the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes, but also doing something a little cheeky with his probe. We have the purple Protoss player, King of Alliteration himself from the land of Sydney. Representing himself, he is Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ash LE for the very first time here in GPO, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player. He is red, representing the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
And you mentioned that it is a little fortunate for MeomaikA that he doesn't have to play at ZBT. Unfortunately, he does have to play against the best PvZ player in all of ANZ.
True. I would say that even with the rise of Starduck, I do believe that Pezz has a better matchup here. Meanwhile, Pezz, he was just juked. I don't know if you saw, but MeomaikA was hiding his probe here in the fog of war, and he was able to sneak past the probe.
My god, it was beautiful.
Oh my!
Thought he was going to be able to delay that hatchery.
Yeah.
Nope. Not at all.
Oh my god. I just... Again, mate, utilizing this small area of his base here to sneak past, like, that was great.
There is that area there, isn't it? I know where I'm dropping every single time on this map now.
Oh no. So because of that, Pezz, he has to turn back home, walk all the way back home with this probe, was unable to force any delays, and this is already a great start from MeomaikA. Now, I do feel like it's worth pointing out here when it comes to Pezz and his playstyle, is I'm really curious to see how he's going to play this out, just because historically, he's not the kind of player to go Stargate and to go into Void Phase.
Yeah, we usually see him do something a little bit different those few times he does go for Stargate play, like sometimes going for triple oracles, or even just mass Phoenix right off the bat in PvZ. Not too fond of those Void Rays, which I personally appreciate.
Yeah, it does mean that, like, he's one of the players who has his own style in this matchup, and he isn't necessarily one to follow the meta, and he still finds success with this. You know, he has his own way of playing, like, ground toss. You could argue that ground toss is weaker overall against Zerg, but it is a more active style, and it is more fun to play. And at the end of the day, I think that's just
and to watch IMO.
True, very true.
And yeah, it's not like ground toss is bad by any means. It's not like it's particularly weak in PvZ. It's just not as efficient, perhaps, as Sky Toss.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people would look at you and be like, "Mate, why are you trying so hard? Just play with Void Rays."
Pretty much.
Oh god.
But it's fun.
It is. And yo, Pezz, we do see a couple more gateways being thrown down. He's starting off with Glaive Adepts, and the classic Pezz is to go Glaive Adepts, not 100% committed, throw down a Robo behind this, Robotics Bay, and go into Disruptors.
Yeah, usually as a form of defense, or as a defensive bit of a follow-up here for Pezz. Usually does commit a little bit more to the Swarm Gateway style.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll see how much he will commit here. I mean, the Overlord does scout everything, so MeomaikA is well aware of what is coming his way. Interesting choice, he does go for a much faster lair here. We'll see what this is for later on. Maybe he's just getting it for detection in case there is a Dark Shrine follow-up.
Well, that's the safe thing to do, but how much you want to bet that MeomaikA is getting it just for Quick Galaira Constitution?
Yeah.
So there we go! Quick Galaira Constitution, MeomaikA knows immediately. Once I defend against these Adepts, it's game over, pal. I'm going straight for the counterattack.
Exactly, and that is why these Disruptors are so important, because defensive Disruptors against Roaches, like, they can do well. Obviously, Speed Roaches have an easier time splitting, but they're still Roaches, and it's still hard to split.
Pretty much, yeah. clump up so easily. It's the nature of roaches, really. It's their instincts.
It's exactly. Roach together strong. And and with this, the Adepts, they again check the bases, check the army, confirm that MeomaikA has a lot of roaches, and he does back off and go back home. Unfortunately, Pezz wasn't able to see the timing of the lair, and that would have definitely told him to be a little bit more safe at home, but oh, I mean, he's here with his War Prism.
Yeah, he might be able to sneak in an Adept or two, but MeomaikA is being really goddamn diligent when it comes to denying that information. As a side note, I feel like Marines together strong works a little bit better than Roach together.
I mean, it does. There's a lot more memery with that.
Believe
not
it or
gonna
not,
lie.
Marine.
Believe it or not, more Marine. Meanwhile, the roaches are going across map, but the disruptors are coming out. The first one is ready here, and again, one shot is sometimes all you need.
Yeah, thankfully for Pezz, MeomaikA has not scouted that third base either. Our reconstitution really coming into play here despite the lack of creep. MeomaikA gets right on top of this base, right on top of the purification shooter, the disruptor. There we go. That's the name of the unit.
That it is. Meanwhile, Pezz just barely picks it up here with the War Prism, but the wall is not a wall. Where are the shield batteries? They're just not here, mate.
Well, sometimes one Purification Nova is all you need. This is not one of those times. Pezz definitely needed those shield batteries that you were talking about. He took a lot of he took a pretty big risk. He cut a lot of corners, believing in the power of the Purification Novas, but he needs a little bit more than those disruptors, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because the first Nova whiffed, it didn't land. Meanwhile, the Cybernetics Corridor gets taken out. That means only Zealots are going to be warping in. And, oh god, MeomaikA has just dealt devastating damage.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want Zealots on top of Roaches.
Yeah.
When you're going for Disruptors like this, you don't want that friendly fire.
Exactly. Meanwhile, god, the Disruptors have to be so careful to avoid these Roaches. Purification Nova finally goes off. That's a pretty good connection.
Yeah, that does deal with just about the majority of the Roaches here, but it also takes out a couple of Pezz's own units, and MeomaikA is coming in heavy with the reinforcements. So Roaches get dealt with. There's still plenty of Lings.
Exactly. Like, Pezz is still in one base economy. He still hasn't rebuilt his cyber core either. Only has 2 gateways up and running. Even though Pezz is trading incredibly efficiently with his disruptors, like, it's just... there's no way. It's just not going to be enough.
I'm honestly a little bit surprised that MeomaikA decided to go back and join up behind us, but in the end, GG is called, and MeomaikA takes game number 1. I guess it was a safe choice to just go back and join up, right? I'm not sure if Pezz saw that MeomaikA was transitioning to a mid game, but at that point, you can't discount it.
Exactly.
It was looking pretty hopeless regardless.
Yeah, that it was. Oof. GG. Well played. MeomaikA does take the first game in this series, but it was just game number 1, and we'll see if we have something different in store for us here as we dive into game number 2.
That we shall.
That we shall. Meanwhile, I see Thorn969 in the chat asking, I wonder who's the best Zerg in C. I mean, just have a look at how many tournaments MeomaikA has won this year. And
pretty much. Yeah.
MeomaikA, he sits safely on his throne as the best Zerg in Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, even though Ender was the DreamHack Winter Champion, that was last year, in 2020, not in 2021.
Yeah, unfortunately I haven't quite been able to replicate that. I do have a lot of hopes for Ender going into 2022, just because he has graduated, he's got a lot more free time, and he's part of the Not Army. So I feel like Ender can make a pretty big claim next year, but for now, it is pretty much MeomaikA without a doubt.
That it is. The one caveat to that is that Demi did have a pretty good performance in DreamHack. I think we even casted Demi beating MeomaikA, right? So yeah, I mean he's been on the rise, but he needs to prove himself.
Yeah, he is on the rise. He still needs to continue rising.
Yeah.
He's not risen yet. Needs a bit more yeast. As we continue our series here on Hotwire LE, we're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the king of alliteration himself, the best PvZ player in all of Australia. What is he gonna pull out this time? Representing himself, as he's currently teamless, we have the Purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself, representing his new team, the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
I just realized that since Steel hasn't casted new maps yet, I can't steal any memes from him.
Thank God. If they were good, then sure, but it's very rarely so.
And so MSO this week. Oh, I guess that gives him a little more time to come up with some.
It's not gonna help me. It's not gonna. God.
Let me steal some memes. Come on.
Oh God. I think the best one he's ever made is the Chrome is a lie. I think that's
yeah. I would agree with that. Like, World of Sleepers Mattress Emporium is decent. What was the other one? Which was on that one map that had the thing. New Repugnancy? New Repugnancy?
Yeah, Repug.
I like that one personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it really comes close to the Chrome is a lie!
Nothing gets better than watching Steel get dragged out of the
by
retirement.
the FBI.
That's great. That's beautiful.
Dr. Vortex Slam. I'm not sure if that's the duct tape you have loaded up this week, but yeah, if we get a break, we might be able to show the viewers that.
True. I hope it is. Also, this is a little bit of a fun thing that Pezz and Stardock have been doing, because they love being as greedy as possible and avoiding, making unnecessary units. I don't know if you noticed, but they have started walling off there with an extra cyber core. They did it last game as well, just because I believe the cyber core builds faster. Yeah, it builds faster.
It'll have a little bit more health on it, just in case there's going to be any early link floods and whatnot. Yeah.
It's just a wall off for that first adept to come out. So yeah, it's something that they've both been playing with. Meanwhile, hey, they're gonna need a wall because MeomaikA, he didn't drone up at all. There's 0 drones here at his natural mate. Let's go.
MeomaikA wants to go for a Bane bust. Okay, I was gonna say he might not actually need to, but yeah, he does.
Mate, there's no shield battery. Pezz hasn't seen anything. He has seen nothing here across the map. And what's one attack gonna do in the face of these failings?
And this is why we don't go greedy. Immediate GG. MeomaikA takes that series for the Not Army, and I forgot to do this for our first series, so just recalibrating. So, you know what, I'll play it twice for the first 2 series we had. That was for Pezz versus Azure. That was for MeomaikA versus Pezz.
Just GG. Well played, MeomaikA. He just goes for the Bane bust. Unfortunately, because Pezz went for a greedier opening, what that means is that he didn't go for the earlier adept to go across the map to shade in and check his opponent and scout and see what's going on. Instead, he had no idea, and MeomaikA just showed up with Banelings, and it's like,
yep. That style would work on most any other Zerg players, but not in the Zerg Muta triangle.
Exactly. And with that, GG, well played. MeomaikA moves on, and we have our semi-finalists, mate.
Already?
Mate. Jeez. Oh my god.
Jeez, this was fast. Oh my.